if you target your CV with the specific skills that a specific employer is looking for, you have a much better chance of getting to interview. The reason we're looking at your skill sets is because it's important that you know where they fit into your CV. And when it comes to your CV, it's important to remember that for every job you apply for, you have to write a new CV. And let me explain why. If you have a generic CV that you send out, basically it's saying, this is what I've done in the past. But where we're changing your CV this evening is looking at your skill set of the past, okay, which is showing your potential for the future. So if you just put down your job skill set, then all you're doing is saying, I did that, I did that, I did that, I did that. And when a CV actually lands on an employer's table, they look at that and they may have 60 or 600 of that type of CV. So there is nothing that's going to distinguish you from another candidate.
I'm a good timekeeper. I can bring an awful lot to this job. I have an excellent CV, as you can see. And I am very trustworthy.
Your CV is very much like a product advertisement. It's your opportunity to advertise the very best things about yourself. So remember, when you're actually creating your CV, you don't want to put in every single thing you've ever done. You just want to target your market. And that means selling your job-specific skills, your transferable skills, and your personality traits that make you a valuable person for that employer. And that gives you the perfect opportunity to get that job. So we're going to look at the sort of concept for a minute that you're now in sales and marketing. And the product you're marketing is you. Because that makes sense, because you are selling something to somebody. But as every good salesman knows, it's very important to remember that it's not about what you want to sell. It's about what somebody else needs or wants to buy. So no matter how great your past history has been, there's no point in actually putting that into your CV unless that's exactly the type of thing that that employer is looking for. So, for example, your CV is like a product advertisement for you. And that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I'll say now in a couple of months I can see myself running this place. Any chance of a cup of tea there, love?
So now that we know that it's important that you see your CV as being a product advertisement, we have to acknowledge the fact that we've got to sell you. So we're going to actually create a CV that sells you in the best possible way, because what we're going to do is we're going to market your skill set. So we're going to look at all of your skill sets and the skill set lists that you've created, and we're going to say, how can we put those into a CV that best markets you? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to say the biggest thing that you need to have on your CV is your personal details. Now that's really important, because the number of CVs I've actually seen arrive on my desk that don't have a mobile number or an email address or even some of them a name, so that even if I liked the CV, I couldn't call them. But even if I liked the CV, I've realised that the person's attention to detail is really not what I would want for my company. So therefore, do remember, personal details, very important. Your employment history is going to start with the last job that you held and work back towards the first. However, if you've had more than 5 jobs, it's important just to go as far as 5 unless there's something really outstanding that preceded that. Because an employer is not really interested in what you did 15 years ago or 25 years ago. He's interested in what you've actually sort of got to offer him now. So within your qualifications, etc., you can show that you've done jobs. But when it comes to your employment history, it's important to remember that you actually just want to give them the last 5 positions that you held.
I'm sorry, but I really get nervous at interviews. You're a very attractive woman. You married yourself.
Now you must remember that a CV ideally should be 2 pages long, and at a push it can be 3 pages long. So therefore you have to decide what's the most important thing that you put down about each of these. So for example, the job title you must give, the date you started and finished you must give, the company name and website you must give. A one-line summary of what the company does is valuable. It's very important to list the responsibilities that you had, and it's very important to say what you personally achieved. So for example, let's say you worked in sales and you say, well, this was the job title, it was salesperson, and this is the date I started and finished, and this was the company name, and the company sold pens, okay, if they sold pens. And then you're going to say what your responsibilities were. Now that's when you go back to look at the job advert and you see, well, what type of responsibility do they want to give to the person they want to give the job to? And if you can match responsibilities in those jobs, that's what you do. You match them up. Now we get to the most dangerous place in your CV. This is a quagmire. This is the one that most people fall down on, okay? And it's called hobbies and personal interests. This is an area where people decide, great, I can tell them about me. Don't tell them about you. This is an opportunity to show what motivates you. It's an opportunity for you to show that you are the perfect fit for the job. Remember, if you're going to write a CV and you only get 2 pages or a maximum of 3 pages to write it, then you want to be absolutely sure that everything you write on that CV makes you sound like the right person for the job. It's important to show that even your hobbies show you to be the right person for the job. So if you say, for example, I like to read. Well, of course, the easy one would be to say, the company I'm actually hoping to be interviewed by is a medical company, so I'll say I read medical books. But that's not a good idea, because what may happen is when you get to interview, they may ask you, so what medical books have you read? But there's another way of doing it, okay? You can actually say, I like to read, which is the truth, and then you can say, I like to read light-hearted books because I work so hard when I'm at work that it's a really good way to switch off and get some downtime. So now they go,